But everybody talks to me like I'm the one. I should change. Why should I change? I've never even gotten to find out who I am, and you want me to change. That's crazy. You tell me I'm bad before I even get to be anything. What the hell is that? Original sin or something? I read Plato, earned him on a park bench in the Bronx. Let me tell you something. Plato, he wasn't afraid. Diogenes, he wasn't afraid. Socrates, he wasn't afraid of anything. They were men. Why are you the headmaster and I'm the student? Do you understand? I have to earn your respect, but you don't have to earn mine. What is that? It's you that wants to A before you even start. But when I say I want the same thing, I'm nuts, right? I'm not going to cry. I'm going to find my place in this world. Count on it. This school's been a miracle for me. But not because of you. Because somebody, Mr. Hoffman, finally saw me!
Who is Timothée Chalamet? The actor redefining a generation of Hollywood. Timothée Chalamet didn't arrive in Hollywood with explosions or blockbuster hype. Instead, he arrived quietly, with vulnerability, emotion, and performances that felt deeply human. This video explores how a young actor from New York became one of the most compelling and respected stars of his generation. Chalamet isn't just another movie star. He's a performer known for emotional depth, artistic risk, and a willingness to take roles that challenge both himself and the audience. This video dives into his early beginnings, his breakthrough moments, and the path that turned him into a modern Hollywood phenomenon. What makes an actor truly unforgettable? Is it talent, timing, or the courage to be emotionally raw on screen? And how does someone so young carry the weight of expectations from an entire industry? From intimate indie films to massive global productions, Chalamet has proven he can disappear into almost any character. Is he simply a rising star? Or is he already becoming one of the defining actors of this era? Today, we explore the life, artistry, and rise of Timothée Chalamet, the actor who reminds us that sometimes the quietest performances leave the loudest impact.
I know the classiest thing would be to downplay the effort that went into this role and how much this means to me, but the truth is this was 5.5 years of my life. I poured everything I had into playing this incomparable artist, Mr. Bob Dylan. And lastly, I can't downplay the significance of this award because it means the most to me. And I know we're in a subjective business, but the truth is I'm really in pursuit of greatness. I know people don't usually talk like that, but I want to be one of the greats. I'm inspired by the greats. I'm inspired by the greats here tonight. I'm as inspired by Daniel Day-Lewis, Marlon Brando, and Viola Davis as I am by Michael Jordan and Michael Phelps, and I want to be up there. So I'm deeply grateful to that. This doesn't signify that, but it's a little more fuel, it's a little more ammo to keep going. Thank you so much.
Timothée Chalamet is one of those rare modern actors whose presence seems to feel both classic and new at the same time. In an era dominated by quick fame, viral moments, and short attention spans, he represents something different: patience, craft, vulnerability, and an almost old-school dedication to storytelling. His journey from a curious kid in New York City to one of the most respected actors of his generation is not simply a story about fame or success. It is a story about belief in creativity, about trusting one's instincts, and about having the courage to pursue artistry in a world that often rewards shortcuts. And perhaps the most interesting question about his journey is this: what happens when someone chooses authenticity over convenience? Timothée Hal Chalamet was born in 1995 in Manhattan, New York. Growing up in a city that pulses with culture, art, and diversity gave him a unique foundation. His mother worked in the arts, and his father had roots in journalism and international culture, creating an environment where storytelling, expression, and creativity were part of everyday life. But even in a city where art is everywhere, discovering your own voice is not automatic. It requires curiosity, experimentation, and the willingness to try, and sometimes fail. As a child, Timothée was fascinated by performance. He wasn't simply interested in being seen. He was interested in exploring emotions, characters, and perspectives. While many kids dream of fame, he seemed drawn to something deeper: the craft itself. Isn't that an interesting difference? What separates someone chasing attention from someone chasing mastery? During his teenage years, he attended the LaGuardia High School of Music and Art and Performing Arts in New York City, a school famous for producing talented artists. But even in an environment filled with talented performers, standing out is difficult. Every student believes they have potential, Every classroom is filled with ambition. That raises an important question. When surrounded by equally passionate people, what allows one person to rise above the noise? For Timothée, the answer appeared to be dedication to authenticity. He didn't try to imitate the typical Hollywood leading man. He didn't shape himself into what the industry expected. Instead, he leaned to emotional honesty. He allowed vulnerability to become his strength rather than hiding it. Early in his career, he appeared in television roles and small projects that many viewers barely noticed. These were not glamorous beginnings. In fact, the early years of acting often involve uncertainty, rejection, and patience. Auditions come and go. Roles are lost. Opportunities vanish before they begin. Yet, these quiet years are where real actors develop their resilience. How many people give up on their dreams simply because the early chapters are slow? Everything changed when Timothée was cast in the film Call Me by Your Name. His performance as Elio was delicate, emotional, and deeply human. Rather than relying on dramatic gestures, he captured the complexity of first love: confusion, longing, excitement, heartbreak, with subtlety and honesty. It was the kind of performance that makes audiences feel like they are watching something real rather than scripted. The role earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor, making him one of the youngest nominees in that category in decades. But the real significance of the moment wasn't the nomination itself. It was the message it sent. That authenticity still matters. That audiences still connect with vulnerability. That an actor doesn't need to follow a traditional mold to captivate the world. But success introduces a new challenge. Once the spotlight arrives, expectations follow. Hollywood is full of examples of young stars who struggle under pressure. Fame can distort identity, reshape priorities, and overwhelm even the strongest personalities. So the real test becomes this: how do you remain grounded when the world suddenly pays attention? Timothée's answer seemed simple but powerful. He stayed focused on the work. Instead of rushing into blockbuster roles purely for fame, he continued choosing projects that allowed him to grow artistically. Films like Lady Bird, Beautiful Boy, and later Dune demonstrated his ability to move between intimate character studies and large-scale storytelling. That flexibility is rare. Some actors excel only in dramatic roles. Others thrive only in spectacle-driven films. But Timothée seemed comfortable exploring both worlds. And that raises another question. Is greatness about specialization, or is it about adaptability? His role as Paul Atreides in Dune introduced him to global blockbuster audiences. The film required not only emotional depth, but also physical endurance, discipline, and the ability to carry the weight of a massive franchise. Suddenly, he was no longer just an indie darling. He was a central figure in one of the largest science fiction stories ever filmed. Yet even in the middle of enormous cinematic scale, his performances continued to emphasize humanity. He portrayed Paul not as an untouchable hero, but as a young man wrestling with destiny, responsibility, and fear. That choice reminded audiences that the most powerful stories are not about perfection, they are about growth. Beyond acting ability, Timothée also became a cultural figure. His fashion choices, public appearances, and interviews often challenge expectations of what a leading man should look or behave like. Instead of rigid masculinity or predictable style, he embraces creativity and individuality. And that invites an important reflection. How often do people limit themselves because they are afraid of being different? What makes his journey inspiring is not simply his success, it is his willingness to remain curious. Even after major recognition, he continues to talk about learning, about studying performances, about improving his craft. This mindset reflects a deeper philosophy, the belief that mastery is never finished. Think about that idea for a moment. In many professions, people reach a certain level and then stop pushing themselves. Comfort replaces ambition, routine replaces growth. But the artists who endure are those who remain students of their craft. They keep exploring. They keep asking questions. Another remarkable aspect of Timothée's career is his ability to connect with younger audiences without sacrificing artistic integrity. Many young viewers see themselves in his characters. Thoughtful, sensitive, searching for meaning in a complicated world. Instead of portraying invincible heroes, he often portrays people who feel uncertain yet hopeful. And perhaps that is why his work resonates so strongly. Modern life is filled with noise, pressure, and comparison. Social media constantly pushes people to perform confidence, even when they feel lost. Seeing a character navigate vulnerability honestly can feel surprisingly powerful. His career also demonstrates something important about timing. Not every opportunity arrives when we expect it. Some people succeed early, others take decades. The key lesson from Timothée's journey is patience. He didn't explode into fame overnight. He built momentum slowly, role by role. So here is a question worth asking. How many people abandon their path because progress feels slow? What if success often arrives just after the moment people are tempted to quit? Outside of film, Timothée has also used his visibility to highlight social issues and encourage thoughtful conversations. He has spoken about education, equality, and the importance of using influence responsibly. While he avoids being overly political in public spaces, he recognizes that visibility carries responsibility. This reflects another lesson. Leadership doesn't always require loud declarations. Sometimes it simply requires awareness and integrity. As his career continues to grow, the future seems full of possibilities. He has already explored drama, romance, science fiction, and historical storytelling. But the most exciting aspect of his journey may be the unknown directions ahead. Every actor reaches a moment where they must decide whether to repeat past success or take creative risks. Risk is the heartbeat of artistry. Without it, stories become predictable. Careers become comfortable. Innovation disappears. And Timothée appears to understand this instinctively. He seems less interested in maintaining an image than in exploring new territory. Perhaps that is the central theme of his journey: exploration. Not just of characters, but of identity, creativity, and expression. And that brings us back to the deeper inspiration hidden in his story. Success is not simply about talent. It is about curiosity, discipline, patience, and courage. Talent may open doors, but character determines how far someone travels once those doors open. Timothée Chalamet's rise reminds us that individuality is not a weakness. Sensitivity is not a flaw. Thoughtfulness is not something to hide. In a culture that sometimes celebrates loudness over depth, he proves that quiet intensity can be just as powerful. So what can we take from his journey? We can learn that authenticity matters. We can learn that patience matters. We can learn that growth requires risk. And perhaps most importantly, we can learn that success built on honesty tends to last longer than success built on imitation. His story is still being written, and the most fascinating chapters may still lie ahead. Every new role will test his range, his choices, and his vision as an artist. But if the first chapters of his career have shown us anything, it is that creativity thrives when someone refuses to follow predictable paths. So the real question becomes this. If Timothée Chalamet can pursue artistry with courage in an industry known for pressure and conformity, what might happen if more people approach their own lives with the same mindset? What if we allowed ourselves to experiment, to grow, to fail, and to try again? Because sometimes inspiration doesn't come from loud victories or dramatic moments. Sometimes it comes from watching someone quietly pursue excellence with patience, honesty, and imagination. And maybe that is the real lesson in Timothée Chalamet's journey. That the most powerful stories are not just the ones we watch on screen, but the ones we are brave enough to live ourselves.
Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I'm in a category with many greats. This category is stacked. I look up to all of you. Thank you. To Josh Safdie, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for this role. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for this portrait, for your mind, for your worldview. To A24, Ronnie Bronstein, who co-wrote the script with Josh. The amazing cast of this film: Odessa Zion, Gwyneth Paltrow, Tyler the Creator, Fran Drescher, Kevin O'Leary. If you would have told me when I was 19 years old, I'd be thinking Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank. All right, you're laughing, so I got away with that. Thank you, Kevin. I would have been stunned, but I've been very grateful. My dad instilled in me a spirit of gratitude growing up. Always be grateful for what you have. It's allowed me to leave this ceremony in the past empty-handed, my head held high, grateful just to be here. But I'd be lying if I didn't say those moments didn't make this moment that much sweeter. For my parents, for my partner, I love you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching Who Media. We hope you had fun learning something new today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss a story.
You ever getting ready to go to the Cheesecake Factory with your lady, and she goes, I don't want to eat too much, I don't want to get big. Girl, too late. Big Betty said what? Hi, I'm Timothée Chalamet. I'm hosting SNL this week with Boy Genius.
Timothy, I'm so excited.
Willy Wonka.
What?
Sorry, the actor strike just ended. I could finally promote my movie.
Oh, well, congrats. That's
Willy Wonka, chocolate man. Willy Wonka, chocolate.
And the award goes to Kenan Thompson.
To my fellow nominees, you did beautiful work this year.
Love you, babe. Love you, babe. Love you, babe. Good to see you. Yeet, yeet, skirt, yeet, yeet, skirt, skirt, skirt. Roll up, yeet, drop that, yeet, skirt that, yeet, pop that, yeet. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, Dad, can you come get us? Everyone here's super mean.
What's wrong with me?
Whatever do you mean, Cassidy?